I'm Greg, and you're listening to Totally Preventable.
Totally preventable.
Totally preventable.
Totally preventable. Totally preventable.
Totally preventable. Totally preventable.
All right. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Polly, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Who's our guest today?
So today we have the co-founder of the NOSOLO brand, John Toracinta.
NOSOLO. What's that?
So it's I don't know if you remember from our previous podcast we had with Alex, and he was wearing a hat, and then it was like it was a cool emblem, cool logo.
Yeah.
So we asked about it, and I looked them up, and the work that they're doing, they're really philanthropic when it comes towards mental health awareness. So I thought it'd be great to have them on and hear more about the brand.
Awesome. We always need more support around mental health.
Exactly. They're a brand right here out of Newport too.
Really?
Yeah. That was cool. I didn't, you hear a lot about Newport, but you don't really hear too much about startups right out here. So,
Right here. Yeah. Awesome.
So they got a great following. I know a big Instagram following, a lot of celebrities or excuse me, I should say athletes.
Yeah.
Who they have affiliation with. So yeah, it's supposed to be a good time.
Great. I can't wait to hear more.
Me either. So without further ado, right. Today, joining us on Totally Preventable, we have the co-founder of the NOSOLO brand, John Toracinta. John, how are you?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Our pleasure.
We're happy to have you.
Yes. So, we saw this brand on a previous guest, and we were asking about it, and his answer about the brand was just so electrifying. We were like, we got to reach out to this brand and find out all about it. So, again, it's been a buzz. We've been talking about it for a little while, and we're happy we finally got you on. And can we start off by you just telling us about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the more exciting things in my life right now, I'm a new dad. So that's taking up quite a bit of time.
Congrats.
Thank you. Me and my wife have a baby boy, Zane. He's 9 weeks old. So he's awesome, a handful, but absolutely awesome.
You will no longer be solo after that.
Not solo anymore. Absolutely not. No, but that's more of the recent news. Myself, I am product marketer in the golf industry. I work for FootJoy. That's a little bit of my background. I've been there for about 6 years. So I do a lot with products. I do a lot with marketing. I do a lot with tour players. I'm an avid golfer, so it makes my job a little easier knowing I love the sport that I'm working in and the industry I'm working in. But I live in Newport, Rhode Island. I went to URI for school. I graduated from Salve with my MBA a few years ago. I decided to go back to school, and that's kind of where the NOSOLO idea wasn't really started, but going through Salve to get my MBA was really a platform which allowed me to kind of utilize some of my skills and really take this brand kind of to the next level and take the idea I had and kind of put it into play. So all said and done, we've landed here, and NOSOLO is a few years old. But yeah, all is good.
Right.
So how did NOSOLO come about?
So NOSOLO, it was an idea we had, and I say me and my wife, back in 2019, we got married. We were on a honeymoon in Croatia. And before this, I'd always had this idea to kind of start something on my own. I'm very into kind of fashion and product, and I understand the process pretty well just from my background at FootJoy. So I knew that I could take some of the skills and experience I started there and kind of start something on my own. But in talks with my wife and others, we wanted to make sure like there was a purpose, there was a reason for why we were doing this, and we wanted to make sure that we were attached to something that was bigger than us. And mental health was that kind of charity arm that we wanted to be connected with. It's something that hits home for me and my wife, hits home with some close family members and friends. And we know it's something that, it personally, and I think that it hits everybody on one level or another. And it's just a matter of how deep it hits you. But everybody's got their own story. Everybody's got their own journey, and connecting it to something that's that powerful and that has that big of a community and be a kind of a welcoming piece to that was something that we wanted to establish. So that idea was kind of going through our minds, and in Croatia, we were just talking to a couple locals, and we were just kind of like chatting about everything and just being open and honest and vulnerable. And we just kind of realized that no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what you do, wherever you are in the world, kindness is transcendent. It's something that everybody should kind of take a piece in. It's, we're all here for a short time, but if you can kind of make an impact and make a change in someone else's life, then you should take the opportunity to do so.
This is a great cause.
Yeah, everyone has mental health.
Yep.
And everyone should be aware of that. You never know what someone else is going through or that day or in their lifetime. So
Exactly.
So being in the sporting world, I'll say, you're starting to hear more about it now, but it's not always recognized. Mental health isn't always at the forefront. There's always a persona or something that athlete or someone really involved in the game has to uphold, and it's really, really rare that you hear about the mental health. So how do you feel NOSOLO can help break down some of the stigma surrounding mental health?
I think it starts with awareness. It starts with just kind of getting it out there, and that's what we're trying to do on our small platform now. We're obviously hoping to grow and make a bigger splash, but the whole idea behind it is to build a community that's okay with individuals empowering their own mental health and empowering themselves in whatever way that is. And like you said, it's something that there's been progress, but there's still a lot of work to do. I mean, you've seen athletes speak out over the last couple of years more frequently than say 10 years ago. I think Brandon Marshall, wide receiver for the NFL, I think 10 years ago, 2014 or 11 or something like that, was one of the first ones to really come out and say something. And it takes that takes a lot to do. And since then, every year I feel like more people have kind of jumped on board and just be like, hey, I'm a pro athlete. I make a ton of money. I'm very good at what I do, and I'm famous, and I got a lot of eyeballs on me, but I still struggle. I still have, I'm a human. I go through the same things, and just making it relatable, especially when it comes to people of that level, to Joe Schmoes like me. That's impactful. That's powerful to feel like you're connected to them, and even if you haven't met them before.
Right.
I appreciate that connection. I have a daughter who's a D1 athlete who got diagnosed with some health issues this year and hasn't been able to run for a while. And while we were worried about her physically, mentally, running is her thing. Even she's just having a mildly bad day, going out and running really clears her mind. And that was our argument with the school about letting her run, was like, this is not just about her physical health. Mental health is a big part of being a good athlete and, good human being too. But yeah, so I appreciate that connection.
Yeah. And I mean, mental health and physical health, they're one and the same. I mean, we've talked about it before, but if you get injured physically, you take care of it and you take the time to recover. But mentally, because it's not a visible injury, it's not treated the same, and that's not how it should be approached.
Right.
If you're going through something and you need the time and you need some recovery space, then that should be available and allowed, and without kind of being shunned or shamed. And that's something, again, we're working towards it. We're not there, but to kind of make that a realization that physical and mental health are equal, no matter if you can see it or not. That's where we need to get to.
What's the meaning behind the name NOSOLO?
So it's not alone. NOSOLO, not alone. So we went through a few iterations of the name, and we actually had a name. It was actually called Živeli. It's a Croatian saying, because we thought of the idea in Croatia, and it just means like to life and enjoying life. And me and my wife actually got the phrase tattooed on our biceps as like a reminder, but then realizing that that's a very difficult word to say, spell, type, and understand. We want the brand to grow, not be stagnant, because no one knows how to spell it. So so we just boiled it down. We're like, hey, what are we after, and what's this brand about? And it's it's about not being alone. It's about nobody going solo. It's about having each other's back. It's the power of team. And so we just kind of boiled it down to that, and it's got a little ring to it. Aesthetically and visually, it looks pretty good too, with the O's spaced out. So we can have some fun with that logo treatment wise. But yeah, that's kind of how that came about.
Well, I like it because they can identify with anyone. Like, it doesn't have to be an adult. It doesn't have to be, a golfer. It can be
Mhm.
anyone. I like that. It's identifiable with everyone. That's important.
That's the thing too, is we get asked often, hey, what's your, we're a brand. Obviously we have the charitable arm, and it's part of our mission and our cause, but like, what's your demographic? And I mean, maybe the product's more geared towards the 18 to 40-year-old range, but we're welcoming to everybody, because mental health isn't a one person thing. It's everybody thing.
Right.
And that's what we want to preach. That's what we want to make sure everybody understands when they see the name or the logo, No Solo, is that doesn't matter who you are, you're welcome in our crew.
That's
Awesome.
great.
There's a lot of stigma around mental health, and a lot of people think, oh, toughen up, it's not a real thing or whatever. So do you think that because you're around mental health awareness, that maybe some people are put off by it?
Yeah, so I mean, when starting a brand, it's, you're not going to please everybody. And that's just kind of the reality of it. I think in what we do, we know there's a lot more positives than negatives that come out of it. Some people aren't going to be on board, and we're okay with that, and we've been okay with that since the beginning. The emails that are like, what you guys are doing is amazing, far outweigh the ones that aren't so friendly, and that's okay. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I mean, there's no brand in the world, there's no organization in the world where everybody's supportive. That's just how everybody's wired. Everybody has different views and opinions and values, and we're okay with people not wanting to be on board, but hey, we're welcoming to them too.
That's awesome. That's a great
Yeah.
mindset right there. Can you tell us about your partnership with NAMI?
Yeah. So when we realized we wanted to go down the kind of mental health charity piece of our brand, it actually started. So I mentioned earlier that, mental illness is something that hits close to home. So while this idea was actually developing, my uncle committed suicide about a year prior to the brand launching, and that was something that it was a struggle. It was a tough point for me and my family, and it kind of gave me a little bit of added motivation to get this thing going and really make it sing, and try and reach those people who are in that state, to reach them before it gets to that level. So yeah, with NAMI, it was something that we researched a few companies and organizations, and what they did, and while everybody's obviously doing a outstanding job, NAMI seemed to be one that just kind of stood out amongst the rest. In terms of events that they put on, resources they have, items available on their website where people can get the help that they need. And we've established a pretty great relationship with them, and we're able to donate quite a bit of money to them over the past year and a half. I mean, I think we're just shy of $30,000 in a year and a half, and for a startup brand, that's something we're pretty proud of. But it's something that they're very appreciative too, and we know how getting that money can really go towards funding programs and helping them grow, and while we grow, they grow. That's what a partnership's supposed to be like, and that's what we think we've established with them. And to even further that, I joined the NAMI Rhode Island board a couple months ago, and it's kind of one of those things where I want people to know that we're serious about this. We're not one of those companies that's saying we donate a percentage to charity just so we kind of get some good publicity. We donate a good chunk to charity, and we're heavily involved in the NAMI Rhode Island chapter, at least, because that's where I'm from. But it's pretty cool to be a part of. It's pretty cool to see the lives it impacts, and excited to see kind of how both the local chapter and the national connection we have kind of grow over the next few years.
And NAMI stands for National Association of Mental.
National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Okay, thank you.
You're
I
close.
was
You were
sitting there,
close.
like,
You're
why
close.
isn't there an H? Why isn't there an H?
You were close.
Well, it's obvious that they walk it and talk it. It's not just it's not a publicity thing. That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's a thing too, and that's one of our mottos that we kind of use internally is like a lot of people are raising awareness, and sure that's extremely important, but taking action is where stuff makes a change, and we don't want to just raise awareness. We want to take action on that awareness and do things that truly make an impact and change the perception of how mental health's viewed.
Absolutely.
Mm.
When people are wearing your product, how do you want them to feel? What do you want them to know?
I want them to feel empowered. I want them to have a sense of belonging to our community. I think every day the NOSOLO family is the kind of word we like to use. The family of the community grows. People are buying our products, but it doesn't have to be just the products. It's just, you can still be part of it without purchasing in. We don't need you to buy it. It's always nice, but we don't need it. But it's just that sense of belonging, that sense of community, somebody having your back. And we've had some amazing stories come our way from consumers and people who have been touched by our brand. I mean, one quick one is one of our consumers, her son is at college and he has panic attacks, and he calls his mom up one day and he's like, I'm having a panic attack, and you kind of come over, and she jumps over in the car and they're driving to the hospital to get him checked out, and she's wearing her NOSOLO hat, and he's like, oh, I follow NOSOLO on Instagram. She's like, yeah, I do too. It's a great company, great cause. And he's like, I bought some stuff, and he has his wristband on, and he's like, every time I'm going through one of these panic attacks, I tug at my wristband because I know I'm not the only one that's dealing with this. That's the kind of powerful stories and impact that we look to have. We've been, another one, quick one, we've been lucky enough to have some professional athletes kind of be ambassadors. We can't pay them yet, but just out of the kindness of their heart and aligning with the mission and the cause that we're pushing, they want to be involved. So Victor Hedman's a 2-time Stanley Cup champ, NHL player on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he's one of our ambassadors, an absolute gem of a person. But he was wearing a NOSOLO hat in the Stanley Cup Media Day, which was gigantic for us. That's an understatement. But he was wearing a NOSOLO hat in his media day, and we got an email about someone who's just been really going through a hard time. His daughter recently died from a drowning accident, and him and his wife were struggling very, very, going through a very, very tough time. And he was just someone that followed the brand like what we did, but he was like, I saw Victor wearing it, and just being able to relate to him and knowing that, almost feeling like he has my back and he's kind of understanding of everything that I'm going through, makes my life a whole lot easier, makes a big change in kind of my day to day. And just a couple stories, and we get a ton all the time, and it's cool to see on individual levels how it's working, and then you kind of wrap that up, put all those stories together, and it's making a difference, and that's what we set out to do.
That is awesome.
That is.
Just from the first story, not only the son recognizing the brand, but even the connection that he now has with his mother is on another level. Like that's a deeper conversation. Like, wait, you follow NOSOLO? And then the question is like, why do you follow it? Now the mother's probably gonna release stories that the son probably didn't even know about the
Exactly.
mother. And then when you see,
it opens up that avenue of conversation, within families. Like, I'm sure a lot of people know what's going on internally, but others don't. And to be able to open up that avenue of conversation, and it just takes a story like that, or a conversation that can really kind of, let out what you need to. And it's amazing, since we've started this, how many people have come up to me personally. By no means am I a professional. By no means do I have any background or expertise in, therapy or psychology or anything that could be of help, but they know what I've started and what we've started, and they see us as an outlet, and it's warming to see people open up that way. And I'm open to it. I'll have a conversation. I'll do what I can to kind of make them feel better and just lend an ear so that they have an outlet, because they may have not felt like they had an outlet before. So it's pretty cool to see things like that generate from starting this brand, which was not something I even thought would kind of come about.
We talk about a lot about connections here and how connections between people are important. Yesterday, we were talking about it, and this seems like a really nice connection between people that could be experiencing the same thing, that might need that connection to help them through.
Absolutely, for sure.
Can you speak on how fashion can help in mental health?
Yeah. So I mean, fashion in general, they call it retail therapy for a reason. Fashion is something that can improve your mood, boost your confidence, kind of get you into your character. Everybody kind of has their own style, their own vibe, their own way of doing it. But clothing, something that directly affects our mood and attitude. It can improve our day-to-day activities based on how you're dressed. And that's kind of going a little bit deeper into probably where we need to go with NOSOLO, because we're just kind of lifestyle casual, but the logo is kind of what makes our stuff shine. We produce quality products, and we want people to appreciate what they're supporting. A lot of people support organizations or brands or charities, and they might do it to support once, but it might not be the most quality product, and it might not be the best fitting, it might not be the best material, so it might be a one-time purchase. It's pretty amazing to see the amount of repeat purchases we have, because we wanted to make a product that stood out with a cause that should stand out, and to kind of marry those up has proved to be pretty beneficial in numerous senses, that people appreciate what they're getting. If they appreciate it and they like it, they're going to wear it more. If they wear it more, people will see it more. People see it more. Our community grows. If our community grows, our donations grow, and so it's kind of this one long line of one thing helping another, but it all starts with making a quality piece with a quality cause.
So I'm guessing that onesies are going to be in the near future, right?
I think they are.
Wait,
I
you
was
got
gonna
right
say
here.
that. I was like, I think I saw that.
Awesome.
I was told if I don't make a onesie, it's a big miss. So I was like, all right. You're like, you got your own model right in your next door room next door. So
Exactly. Get him before he has to be paid. You're all set.
exactly. I know. He's gonna tell me to open my wallet soon.
How does someone become a NOSOLO ambassador?
So we have a
Born
go
into
ahead.
the family.
Yeah. We have a link on our site. So we obviously have our kind of higher level ambassadors, which are like professional athletes and celebrities. We have probably a dozen or so. And again, we're looking to grow that at any chance we can. Most of it's through networking now, and just people who want to be involved,
Mhm.
with just product. Again, we can't pay you yet. We're getting closer to that, and we're looking into sponsorships and even NIL deals with college kids, because that's something that's a space that probably needs it. I wouldn't say the most, but definitely needs it in a big way. So that's something we're looking for. But anybody can join our we call it our Monarch program. Monarch's obviously the butterfly that symbolizes change, and that's what we're after. So our Monarch program, you can go to nosolobrand.com. We have a Become a Monarch tab. You can click on that, fill out a quick form. And what that does is that gets you your own discount code. So every time your discount code's used, whoever, it's meant to kind of spread. So you send that to your friends and family. They get 20% off. We give a little bit of commission back to the Monarch who made the sale. And that way, just no solo products getting out to everyone's kind of audience, reaching people that we wouldn't reach initially. So it all goes back to it's a team effort, and that's kind of what we're pushing. It's all about team, and that team's been pretty big. I think we're up to about 100 Monarchs flying around the country. So in a good spot, but anybody can join. So more than welcome.
All right.
That is awesome. An awesome concept. Everything. That is, just even the Monarch and then giving commission back. There's organizations that definitely wouldn't do that, but now you're being attached to that network, and like you said, that you probably never would have been able to contact or get in touch with, but now you have that. That is great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, did your experience at FootJoy, did that make this whole process easier?
Absolutely, 1,000,000%.
Wow.
So I mean, before FootJoy, I was right out of college. I jumped into mortgages for a few years, and that was more of a, I was not offered the job, but somebody was leaving and there was an opening and they were like, you can jump in if you want. And I jumped in and I just kind of rode that wave for a few years, but mortgages didn't really get me out of bed per se. It was, it's for some people, but for me, I was like, I need a little more creative freedom. I just don't want to crunch numbers all day long. So I decided to take the jump to FootJoy, which I had to kind of start at the bottom of the ladder, and that was okay. It was a new industry, but I knew it was where I wanted to be, and the experience I get there was kind of unmatched. It's the best golf company in the world. So being there and jumping into the marketing team, working with product teams, understanding the process of development from a blank sheet of paper to a design to sampling to working with the factories to product margins to shipping and logistics. It was just a lot of that I would have never known. And I was actually just talking to my wife about this yesterday. I was like, it's crazy. Each thing you do, I feel like is a step. And that was a huge step for me because this brand wouldn't exist if I didn't work at FootJoy. I would have been so this idea of working with factories overseas and all these processes would have been so foreign to me. And to be able to understand how it operates and how it works and then set those things in motion was critical.
That alone can damage your mental health.
Yeah, it still near does, but yeah, it would have for sure.
I think golfing helps you. That's right.
I
What's your
don't know.
your
Golf can be
handicap?
stressful too.
Is that the golfing term? Is that what I'm supposed to ask?
Handicap.
What's your handicap?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
that
a 4.4 right now.
all
Do you
right?
know if that's good?
Just say yeah.
All right.
It's not. It's okay. I mean, there's definitely a few players out there who could definitely take care of me on the golf course, but no, golf's. I mean, you were kind of saying it. Golf's my outlet. One of my outlets. Being home with my son now is a little harder to get out there for 4 hours. But even jumping out for a little bit, I'm a member at a course up the street, and we got an unbelievable crew there. Just a really good group of friends of, again, all ages. And we just, play with different people, get out there, kind of let loose. And that's a way for me to clear my head. That's one of my go-to things when, things are, piling up, getting tough, stressing out, going through anything. It's kind of my safe space.
That's awesome.
One of our employees here works part-time at a golf course up the street, so maybe it's the same.
Maybe.
And I hear there's a lot of toddler and baby golf sets out there. So
there is. I think I already got one on order. As soon as he can stand, he's gonna have a club in his hand.
It's already working on his grip.
Exactly.
We definitely thank you for taking the time and letting us know that NOSOLO is more than just a brand. You're doing a lot of great things. We really appreciate it.
Have we mentioned the website yet? I feel like we've mentioned parts of it and how to find them. Is it NOSOLO?
Yeah. So www.nosolobrand.com.
Okay, super.
And then our Instagram handle is @NOSOLObrand. So a lot of our content goes from there. You can sign up on our website again to be a Monarch, like talked about, or you can just sign up for emails to kind of get the latest and greatest product drops coming out, things we're doing, events we're hosting. We have a pretty cool event coming up this Saturday with the Salve men's hockey team. They're doing a charity game, so all proceeds go towards Newport Mental Health, and we collaborated with them on jerseys. So on their jerseys, they have NOSOLO patches, which is going to be pretty cool to see them rocking those on the ice at St. George's on Saturday.
Wow,
That is fun.
that is a big move, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, they got a good group of guys over there, and they reached out and they heard about the brand, so we figured we'd make something happen. So they did a great job of putting it all together, and we're happy to be part of that one. It'll be fun.
That was great. Another example of them walking in and talking it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. It was great to meet you and hear all about NOSOLO.
It was awesome to you guys. Thank you for having me. That was a fun conversation.
All right, same here.
Yeah. good luck to you and your wife with your new baby.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm Polly, and you've just listened to Totally Preventable.
Totally preventable.
Totally preventable. Totally preventable.
Totally preventable.